Transfers. We want to tell you transfers under the radar, okay, this summer that you must pay attention, that will have a huge influence in the top 7 leagues, maybe, or let's see, even top 8 leagues. We're going to mention it at Visa a bit, Primera Liga from my end, League
Yeah, we are.
We're going to mention a ton of leagues, so I'm excited to see what you're going to say, Breton.
Well, yeah. You want me to start is what I'm hearing. Okay. I'm going to start. We mentioned previously Barcelona. Very, very good at creating phenomenal prospects that go on. And there are 2. So I'm going to put these together.
Okay.
The one is Victor Barbera, who I already mentioned, getting picked up on a free by Club Brugge. A great next step for him at 18, 19 years old. This kid is going to go there. He's going to learn under Ferran Jutkla and some others that they brought in. It's a great next step for him and a very under-the-radar transfer that you need to watch. Now, I don't even know if he has a card on So Rare and some of the other places that people like to pick this stuff up, but Barbera is one I am excited about as he's showing in the U19 Euros. But the one I really wanted to mention was somebody that's going to Kik Setien's setup at Villarreal, and that's Barca product, Ilyas Akomak. 19 years old, phenomenal winger, very, very, very talented.
Xavi
Knew he was
likes him.
probably never going to, on a free, and realized that he probably was never going to get a shot in that first team. And I think Villarreal is the next great best step because Kik Setien has already given chances to Nicholas Jackson. He's given chances to Jeremy Pino, Alex Baena. There's one more, but those 3 are pretty big for how good Villarreal has been. So going to the Yellow Submarine for Akomak is a guy that you need to watch, and I think he's going to get attention from Setien right away and get quite a bit of La Liga time this season. But we'll see.
Interesting mention. And I'm going to go to Belgium a bit because I think Belgium deserves a ton of mentions because the Belgium league was very interesting and they're definitely under the radar. I'm going to say Royal Saint-Gilloise has Teddy Teuma. He's going to be leaving. The captain. He's from Malta. A player from Malta is balling out in the Belgian league. He was the captain too. Okay, 10 goals, 12 assists, and another player leaving Royal Saint-Gilloise is Adingra. Pay attention to Adingra that's going to Brighton because he's going to ball out. So Teddy Teuma and Adingra, 2 players from Royal Saint-Gilloise that you must pay attention under the radar. And if Boniface leaves, you must pay attention to him too. 9 goals and 7 assists in the Belgian league. Very complete, strong striker that has excellent positional awareness. Boniface, another Nigerian striker, killing it in the club level scene. So those are my 2. 2 first.
I love the love that you just gave Teddy Teuma because he's not one that people really speak about, but he is one of the biggest reasons. Yeah, why Saint-Gilloise almost was able over the last 2 seasons to actually win a title, considering that they were only promoted a few years ago. So that's pretty great stuff. But my next one is going to be kind of, this is less under the radar than, whatever. But it just happened. And he's a player that you and I have been high on this whole season. He's at the U21 Euros, and that's Enzo Le Fée going to Stade Rennais. And it works perfectly because it rhymes. But no, I think it's more for me. Enzo Le Fée going to Rennes is more for me how unloved and how unspoken about most of the time that Stade Rennais gets. They don't get talked about enough, and their recruitment is absolutely phenomenal. And while it's not exponential all the way to the top, they have seen, I think they've been no short of 5th or 6th place the last 4 seasons. They've been 3rd, maybe twice. And they every year have some players that they can sell off, whether it's players they developed or players that they brought in shrewd deals. Enzo Le Fée was brought in for, I think, 20 million. And that is a shrewd deal because he could go for 40, 45, 50 in the very near future. But, I just need to spend 2 more seconds on Rennes because this is a team that still has Jeremy Doku. It's a team that still, for right now, has Lovre Majer. They are a team that have Kalimuendo and Amin Gouiri, right? Guys that you can build on. Martin Terrier before he hurt himself last year. I really do feel that with this PSG refresh coming up, whether or not Neymar stays, I really do feel like this particular season is a season like the Lille season, where a good team that gets hot at the right moment and stays hot the majority of the season can do some damage and potentially break PSG's stranglehold on the League One title. And I hope, I'm going to say it right now, because you ready for this? My name is Breton, and they're from the Breton region of France. I hope it's Stade Rennais. I would love to see it happen. Last season, it was Lorient that sat atop. That's where Enzo Le Fée is coming from. They sat atop Ligue 1 for a little while. If Stade Rennais does it this season, you're going to make I will be a fan of the Rouge et Noir for life if they can get things done. So,
Doku is one of the best wingers. Amin Gouiri, one of the best strikers. Enzo Le Fée, one of the best midfielders. Lovramage, one of the best creative midfielders. So in many positions, Terrier was one of the best wingers in terms of numbers in the past 2 seasons in the Liga. So Stade Rennais will definitely be contenders. I'm with you.
Right, and Stade Rennais is an academy that they gave us Eduardo Camavinga. They gave us Ousmane Dembele. They gave us Matisse Tel, who still has yet to, he will get going at Bayern. We're sure of it. And right now they've got Desiree Doué, who is the next man up. And they're also going to sign Janou Balokian, who is lesser known. He's a center back. He is going to be one that breaks out for Stade Rennais. So this was less an under-the-radar transfer. It was more an under-the-radar club that I would watch this season, because I will be.
And I agree with you. Under the radar transfers and club too. Stade Rennais, they've been doing good business. And so I got some Ligue 1 2 players too that have left Portugal to go to Ligue 1. Lille have signed 2 fullbacks, or they have signed 1 fullback most definitely, which is Tiago Santos from Estoril, right back for 6.5 million. Pay attention, okay? Offensively, he's one of the best, and for a 19-year-old, he should be in the under-21s of Portugal. He dominated the Portuguese league, especially at the end when Estoril didn't want it to go in a relegation battle, but which they won. Which they won with a player like Tiago Santos. And my other player is Leonardo Lelu from Casa Pia, left back. So Lille next season will have 2 fullbacks, the young fullbacks that were balling out in Primeira Liga, Tiago Santos from Estoril and Leonardo Lelu from Casa Pia. So great recruitment once again from Lille here in Portugal. They've signed Tiago Jaló. They got Rafael Leão in the past. They just know who to get here in Portugal at a cheap price. So those 2 players, pay attention to them, people. Tiago Santos and Leonardo Lelu.
I was going to ask you more about Tiago Santos because, that's right in your neighborhood. Literally right around the corner from you, right? Estoril. And I know you've probably seen him quite a bit. But, hey, at least they're actually signing out-and-out fullbacks instead of making Timothy Weah play there. Leo, at least. All right, my next one for you is also kind of less under the radar. If you're an American listener, you likely have been hit over the head with Ricardo Pepi to Peter Bosch's PSV Eindhoven, but I really don't think people are giving it enough credit. Okay, did not work out at Augsburg. A lot of that was because of how he played. He was then sent on loan to Groningen, which also did not work out, but he managed double-digit goals in a very incredibly poor side with incredibly poor service, but he stuck with it, had his work ethic, kept his pressing going. Ricardo Pepi just landed about a 10 million euro move to PSV Eindhoven, and this kid is still young. He's hungry. He needs to now battle in the U.S. setup with a certain Folarin Balogun. So this kid wants to prove himself. And if you're going to PSV, you're going there not just for Bosch to teach you how to play striker, but to learn as much as you can from Luc de Jong and to set up as much as you can a wonderful playing relationship with guys like Xavi Simons, with Johan Bakayoko, and the guys behind him. So I am stoked to see what Pepi can do. And I am going to say it right now, double-digit goals again. If he gets the playing time that I think he's going to get, I think he could go as high as about 15 or 16 goals in the Eredivisie this season.
Ooh, the right move. U.S. men's national team striker in the future competing with Balogun. Ricardo Pepi. Oh, great to see.
Got it.
Great to see Ricardo Pepi. And I think it's a great move for him because he was working out at Groningen, like you said. I wanted to put transfers under the radar to some free transfers, because I think there were some good free transfers done. I'm going to mention 2 by one club and 1 by Bayern Munich. The Bayern Munich free transfer, Rafael Guerreiro, deserves more attention, leaving Dortmund to Bayern Munich. It's clearly an upgrade from him. He's going to win the 13th Bundesliga title most likely, and he will be much more talked in the international scheme of things, Rafael Kreid, with the possibility of maybe Alphonso Davies leaving in 2-3 years' time. Rafael Kreid could have the spotlight. And my other two players under the radar is Oussem Aouar going to Roma and Ndicka going to Roma too. 2 free transfers. Mourinho seems to know how to do this with Belotti, with Dybala in the past, because Dybala too could be leaving for a 12 million release clause to the outside clubs of the Serie A. But once again, we see great deals done by Roma, great deals done by Mr. Pinto and Mourinho. And I wanted to give a highlight to that because I consider them under the radar. And Fratelli to Inter, it's not really talked in the English press. Like I don't see it being talked big. Maybe in Italy it's talked big, but Fratelli to Inter is a big deal too, in my view. One of the best Italian midfielders in the world. So great point.
No, I'm with you. I love Evan Ndicka is a guy that doesn't get enough credit. He didn't when he was in the Bundesliga, and I think he likes it that way. I believe now he's an Ivorian international, but at one point, I mean, with the long list of defenders with French heritage, he was never necessarily going to get a shout, but he should do really, really well for AS Roma. All right, well, my last...
Ndicka and Adingra, we've mentioned in this video. That's Italian and Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You could build quite a healthy list. Amad Diallo, Hamed Traore, who's now in the Bundesliga as well. Or the Bundesliga, the Premier League. But going to the Bundesliga, that's where my head was at, where you just came from, because Evan Ndicka was signed from there. I have to say Xabi Alonso's staying at Bayer Leverkusen does everybody a world of good. That's a great thing. I want to see another season of him at Bayer Leverkusen. I also want to see him now with a midfield general, 25 million for him. Granit Xhaka is going to be great there. But the big signing that I like the most is a guy that also does not get enough credit. He was Gladbach's talisman for the last couple seasons, but it is Jonas Hoffmann. Jonas Hoffmann will not get talked about as the flashiest of players, but what you don't understand is that this guy manages to get on the end of a ball or to deliver a proper ball when he can, and it works in the Bundesliga, and Leverkusen needs exactly that, so they don't have to rely on Florian Wirtz or Moussa Diaby that much. Jonas Hoffmann is, I believe he had 26 goal involvements in just 33 starts last season, and he is an immediate upgrade in that midfield, in that injury-prone midfield for Xabi Alonso. I think Xabi Alonso, he's 30, but I think Xabi Alonso is going to do a world of good for him and make him a mainstay in the German kind of refresh that's happening right now in the national team. So great, beautiful signing, and I don't even know if I don't think it broke the bank. It might be free. I think it's free.
Unreal.
Could be.
Unreal that you're mentioning that transfer, because it's a great deal when you have maybe Diaby leaving in the future and you need players that give guarantees in terms of goal. And I'm going to say, since we're mentioning, it's not under the radar but Florian Wirtz that you mentioned Leverkusen, I think Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala next season, when Nkunku leaves, they highly have a chance to be the best players in the Bundesliga. Okay? I know Kimmich is the best player too, and Jude Bellingham last season, but with these two, the spotlight is now open. So go bold. Or Benjamin Sesko, that can be under the radar for many people, but I said it. I believe he can get 20 Bundesliga goals if everything goes right with RB Leipzig. Don't sleep on that. In Siewald, right? Great midfielder too, that can provide those assists. 2 under-the-radar transfers that are power moves from Red Bull Salzburg to Red Bull Leipzig. My final player under the radar that I want to say is Fran Navarro, that went from Gil Vicente to Futebol Clube Porto. Pay attention to this move because Taremi could be leaving Futebol Clube Porto. And Taremi leaving is great news for many European giants that need a striker, because he can get more than 15 goals in any league. Taremi. I'm going to go bold and say that. I believe in Taremi, and I think he wants to make an impression worldwide because he's Iranian and he has a point to prove. You can see it. He wants Premier League. But if he gets Serie A to Roma, which is being reportedly big time, it would be a great deal. But Fran Navarro, signed from Gil Vicente from Porto, 17 league goals, great transfer. Pay attention to him, people. Fran Navarro from Futebol Clube Porto.
Serious question. How much would Taremi cost?
15 to 20 million.
Why would AC Milan not do that?
I agree. I think they're just being cheap because it's a 1-year contract. He needs to finish, and he's 30 years old. But the output of Taremi is more than 15 league goals, 2 seasons, definitely. He's 30. Yeah. So I think they should go for him. No, definitely, Brett.
And you're relying right now on Olivier Giroud, right? Who is great, but he's 36, 37 years old, and he's not going to last too much longer. So 7 years his junior, 6 years his junior seems a whole lot of good to put that money on. I think they also need a right winger, and they might be close to it. But I had to bring up AC Milan. It's not under the radar. But for our American listeners and any others out there following this Chelsea exodus, right? Forced exodus, and they're making good money doing it. So let's be honest there. Christian Pulisic has found a new home, and those of us out there watching his ups and downs, more downs as of late in a Chelsea shirt, know that he still has put his moments in a Chelsea shirt in the rear view. I mean, the guy won a Champions League trophy with them. The guy scored a massive goal in the Champions League semifinals against Real Madrid and assisted one to get them to the final that they ended up winning thanks to Kai Havertz. Also gone. He will always have the hat trick versus Burnley. But one thing is very certain. Christian Pulisic needs to play day in, day out. He needs to be kept healthy somehow. And he needs to work for a manager that wants him there. And Stefano Pioli specifically requested Christian Pulisic to come in. And the more I think about it, the more I absolutely love this for CP10, because Rafa Leao is so much attention is going to be paid to him. The right wing's still a question mark. Salamakers, Messias, whoever it is. But him linking back up with a whole bunch of Chelsea cast-offs makes me so excited, because the Rossoneri are going to have a chip on their shoulder that's a little bit blue, because now you've got Fikayo Tomori, Christian Pulisic, Olivier Giroud, Ruben Loftus-Cheek now, that all wore that Chelsea badge, that want to go and that want to make it not a one-off thing, AC Milan winning the Scudetto again. So CP10 finally finding a home. He's 24. He's got so much to do, and I really hope it happens here. I really hope it happens here, but I'm excited about it. Tell me you. I mean, what's your non-biased take on it?
My non-biased take,
Pulisic?
I think it's the right deal for Chelsea to get rid of Christian Pulisic, and I think it's the right move for Christian Pulisic. So he's going to be paying attention. It's the right move for him. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen. But tell us, you guys, tell us your under-the-radar transfers to watch and what you think about Pulisic going to AC Milan. And do not forget to like this video if you're listening until now, people.